man. But there were times I had to get him man-to-man.
And your favorite team that you guys love to face in your division?
Yours.
Yes, sir.
It's like the games like we play against the Raiders, you might get 3 sacks. When they had Jamarcus Russell, which I did. So I got 3 sacks on them in the first half, right?
Yeah.
And I'm ready, and they take Tommy Maddox.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to West War Room Rivals Season 2. Hashtag be a fan, as you can see over here in the corner. Shout out to everyone that is watching us right now on YouTube. Subscribe if you're watching, or follow us on all social media platforms. I've got all of my gentlemen here on screen. Fellas, how's it going?
Yes.
Matt, we missed you last night when we had Dwayne Bowe, aka Debo. He was a hoot, and you would have loved him, man.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, guys. I couldn't be there. Things are happening, but I know you guys killed it.
Yeah, work obligations. And Debo did mention that, Broncos was not his favorite AFC West team, although he did have good games against you guys. He did want to remind Corey of that on your behalf as well. So, all right, let's get some.
And when we asked him about his favorite game as a Chief, I was like, it can't be that 13 catch game he had against Denver, man. Like, pick something else for just for old time's sake, because I told him, I was like, he was the reason why I had very choice words at a TV watching him play against Denver. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I was like, God, I know he's gonna talk about it. It was kind of like when we had Christian Okoye on, and he was like, go on, ask me about the hit. I know you want to, so yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty much like that, but. No, it was a great fun. Can't wait for you to be on the next one. I'm sure, the next guest that we have on that, either you or Austin bring on, it's going to be big old party anyway. So, but let's get some sponsor shout outs, guys, and we'll get going on tonight's episode. If you guys are in the comments, go ahead and drop some hot takes that you have for hashtag be a fan for season 2. So we want to give a special shout out to Rival Codes. Use Rivals10 to get 10% off your Rivals merch. That is not just apparel. It is a rivalry. It is territory. So go check them out on our behalf. And also Field Ops, Troy, who's my fellow Raider. Go visit him and get your field marketing done for your sports leagues and your games. And then also Emporia State Federal Credit Union. Shout out to Angie and the team, day one supporters. Can't thank them enough. They are the War Room's banking of choice. And of course, I see Jeff and Kim, I see Jeff and everyone and Kim right now in the comments from JBW Solutions. So shout out to you guys. They are the sponsored studio of the War Room. So shout out to those guys for always being supportive. And you can see pretty much everyone has some merch or gear from them, but we named the studio after them because of their partnership. So guys, what's new for the AFC West this offseason? What have you guys been doing to stay busy with this offseason?
Well, Caleb's been crying because of another letdown season. And I've joined him this offseason for a change. So that's been our offseason.
Well, I think with everything going on, there's a lot of AFC West news happening. So, I mean, I'll just leave it at that. I mean, we've already seen we're 2.5, almost 3 weeks in. Mm-hmm. New head coach, new offense coordinators, new staffs. I mean, what more do you want right now?
Yeah, a lot of surprising, I think, players that are going to get released to free up cap space, and maybe some trades that are percolating behind the scenes that we've kind of always talked about. So I guess we should dive right into it. And Corey, thank you for making the notes, because you have the Raiders as a leadoff again. I think you're really wanting me to crash out in an off season, and I'm not going to do it, sir. It is going to be a pleasant evening, but so I think just kicking off with, obviously, as we know, the Combine is this week, so we're going to get a lot of stats and a lot of skill sets from various players and positions that are going to probably fly on the draft board, or they're going to come all the way down. And Mendoza is not going to be one of those guys that falls very far. So he's the projected number 1 overall pick for a reason. John Spytek, though, mentioned that if they brought in any quarterback, that they may not rush him to start right away. And I get it. I think John Spytek is just doing what he does to just kind of let people know that he may not rush him right away. Also doesn't want to tip his hand, even though it's the worst kept secret in the NFL right now, who's going to go number 1. So we kind of already know the trajectory of it. I'm not upset with the comments. I get it. You know, I wouldn't want to rush a rookie quarterback into a situation that's not ready to go in terms of offensive line. But I think if there's ever a situation or an offseason, the Raiders have to get it right in terms of free agency. This is it, because, you know, Mendoza, being the aforementioned quarterback that's probably going to get drafted, needs to make sure that he has all sorts of success ahead of him and not have like a Justin Fields type of career where, you know, an organization ruined him essentially, or Sam Darnold, who had a rough start to his career in two pretty bad organizations. So I feel like the Raiders are just saying what they need to say to be a functioning organization, which is new because, again, I couldn't tell you how many off seasons we had introducing a new coach and GM where they're talking the same thing and just new faces. So
we were that close.
I know. I thought.
No. It's good nights. It's good nights. It's good vibes. Like I said, like it's okay. We're on the right track, or at least what Matt says is they're in the right direction. We'll see if they stay on the rails, but yeah, that's where we're at right now with Raiders. And so
let me get a follow up while the Raider guys talking. What was your take on the comments about them saying Max Crosby is staying a Raider?
I mean,
believe it?
See, here's the thing. Do I believe it? I believe that they're not going to listen to calls that don't meet what they're asking for. If they are genuinely going to make any transaction and they're saying 2-1s, and I've heard other people say like 2-1s for Max at this age is just not a smart move. And if there's a team that's going to do it, that's probably when the Raiders pull the trigger. But if there's no one that's going to do it and he stays on the team, then it is what it is. But also, too, what is Spytech going to say? Yeah, we're listening to offers, but if Max wants to stay, that's great, which would just sour the relationship. If there's any salvaging, I think at this point, you're going to say what you can to keep him on the team realistically. Like, he's still the best defensive player you have. You don't want to get rid of him for nothing. So, yeah, why would you say that we're in the market if you plan on keeping him? But if there's some offer that's going to blow your socks off, then we'll entertain it. But I wouldn't say it in public either.
That's why I ask, like, do you think there's truth that they truly want to keep him? Or were those comments made strictly to drive up the asking price or get teams to meet the requirements? Because, again, what Corey has said many a times since offseason, it's rumor season.
Right.
Like, yes, we heard this directly from the Raiders, but is it true? Is this the smokescreen?
Well,
are you expecting to start the season?
I would ask you guys, do you think Spytech would want to throw out there that they're in the market for it, or do you think they would want to keep Max in house as long as possible?
I think both. I would want to keep him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if the Raiders are going to, again, they're already in the direction of we're going to turn this organization around, right? They already got rid of Pete Carroll, new coaching staff. They're already heading in the new direction of getting a new quarterback. And it's kind of giving me the Von Miller vibes almost, where like they got rid of Von Miller, and it may be that could have been a money thing, draft picks, whatever. But like, if you really want to rebuild the team, yeah, would it suck to lose Max Crosby, the caliber player, the pass rusher that he is? Absolutely. However, yeah, I think like, hey, we need a new environment. We need a new culture in here. Max, thanks for everything you did for us, but you're free to explore free agency, or, we're going to, the trade offers, whatever, and go from there.
Yeah, I'm not trying to.
Are the Raiders going to be competitive this season? Like, are they going to compete for a division?
Okay.
Are they going to compete for a wild card? No. Are they a playoff team this year?
I think we have to see the moves.
Are they going to be a playoff team this year?
As of today, no.
Then you trade Max Crosby. You get your 2-1s for him. There is a team that will give you 2-1s for Max Crosby.
Well, sure. And well, now they give them away for sauce. They don't have 2-1s anymore. But anyways, that's why I'm saying I see, the Raiders are still going to listen to offers that meet the asking price. I don't think they're going to let him go for like a third and a fourth or whatever just to get him off the team. I think it'd be a lot, like there'd be more handling in that situation. But, again, though, like the Raiders did acquire or promote Rob Leonard, who has been working with Max Crosby since he's coming in the NFL. He's retained a lot of the coaching staff that Max is close with. So, I mean, if there is no suitors that are going to pay the asking price, and realistically, like what desperate team is going to pay the asking price that Max wants to go to, I think is another question, because like, let's assume the Browns, let's say, are willing to give up 2-1s. Max isn't going to go to the Browns. and the Raiders aren't going to do that to him. If there was a situation to set him up for success, they would, but how many contending teams are okay giving up a 1 for a player who's kind of on the back end of his career? I think
they would do it just for the simple fact that they're that much closer to a playoff. They're that much closer to a Super Bowl. If you're the Cowboys, you do this. If you're the Bears, you do this. If you're the Bengals, you do this. If you're the Lions, you do. There's plenty of teams out there that don't give a shit about their first round picks. They know that they're
Rams have 2.
They're one player away from being able to be a competitive team or compete for something higher than what the Raiders are going to compete for in the next 2 or 3 years.
Sure, but this is why I say then the Raiders then have every right to then just not take any offer that comes in front of them. Like,
then that's why they continuously go down the shithole that they're in.
Well, I mean, what are you going to give Max for the first offer? That's like a couple of picks here and there. Or are you going to
take him first? Or are you going to take a first this year and a first next year? And maybe they throw in a low end player.
I've seen the one of a first round of DJ Moore, and I honestly don't think that's too bad.
I don't think so either. But if that's coming to the table, if that is legit, or maybe it's another team that wants to outbid whatever team's in the market, I'm not saying that we don't trade Max. I'm just saying I don't think you outwardly say, hey, we're trading Max at the podium of the combine. You want to let him know, like, hey, listen, we still want you on the team, but it does sound like they will do right by him. I'm just saying that I don't think the Raiders are going to go after the first lowball offer just to get him off the roster. I think we're
not saying that there's ever going to be a lowball offer. We said the asking price is what the asking price is. Like, and there's teams that are going to do that.
And I think the comments that made me kind of second guess if Max is even on the table was when they said, we want really good players in the locker room, and Max is a really good player.
Right.
So to me, it sounds like they're not even sold on if they get an offer that, even kind of meets the asking price. Would they do it?
I think genuinely the Raiders do not want to let Max Crosby go no matter what. I get it. Like, for the future, for additional draft picks, assuming someone gives 2 firsts and a low end player that can be productive. I get all that. Assuming that happens, I still don't think the Raiders truthfully want to deal Max, but if an offer comes through that they can't refuse, do I think a deal gets done? Sure. But I don't think the Raiders are initially looking to deal Max like as top priority. I think they're going to do what they're going to do in the offseason, in the draft. Hopefully Max wants to stay. If not, then they're going to do right by him, but also not sabotage themselves by taking a lowball offer just to satisfy Max. That's what I think is going to happen.
I think they've already had some discussions that this was going to happen. I think they're going to silently explore this. I mean, this is when deals go down, or at least start. I said it last night. The combine's obviously notorious for tampering. Teams talk to agents. Teams talk to teams. I think they were in full understanding. And again, this is just my opinion. No insider knowledge, not reading into anything. I think when all that stuff happened with Max a few months back, I think going into the season or off season, they had the come to Jesus talk and said, hey, we gave it a good run here. We'll keep it under the table. We'll keep it quiet, and we're going to find the right trade partner for you. And if the deal's right, cool. We're going to, you've done what you've done here. And this is basically the next step of you helping us, is getting us those, extra draft capital. You've done well here. We're not going to win in the next couple of years as with you here. So why not give you that chance in what you deserve? You deserve to be on a team that's going to compete every season, and we're just not quite there yet.
Sure. I get it. Again, I'm not saying that the Raiders' top priority is to move Max, but I think if it happens, it happens. I don't think it's top priority. I think it's I think if it's like the deal comes through that they can't refuse, that's what they're going to do.
Caleb, Matt, any opinions on the low life Raiders?
I'll let Caleb go first if he has any.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't trade Max, if I'm being honest with you. I think that will just change. I think that can change the whole team. Obviously, for the right asking price, like you were saying. But I do think there are teams that would give up however many firsts for him. The Cowboys being the main one that comes to mind for me. But, yeah, overall, I think Max does get dealt, if I'm being honest with you. But it has to be for the right asking price, like to your point, Cody.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Cody on this one too, because again, like I said earlier, the caliber player that Max Crosby is, I don't need to shop him around. I already know people are going to be calling my phone asking me about him. I don't need to shop him around. So I'm going to start prioritizing. All right, cool. Who am I going to target in the draft? Obviously, we know Mendoza is going to be number one. Like you said, it's the worst kept secret in the league. Who else is on there? I got the combine coming up. Who do I have my eye on? So I'm going to be focusing on that. And my phone's going to go off anyway. I know they're going to be asking me about Max. So I'm not even focused on that. I'm focused on who am I going to bring in because, I do kind of see Max leaving. I see the Bears picking him up or even Dallas throwing money at him because that's what Jerry Jones does. He just throws money at whoever's out there. So, yeah, I think they're going to focus on rebuilding and they're just going to let the buyers come to them.
Yeah. I will say this before we put a pin in this and we'll move on to the Broncos topic in a second is Max sounds more open for business in terms of leaving the Raiders than in previous seasons. So I think for the Raiders, that makes it easier for them to find the right deal that meets what they're looking for, or maybe meets what Max looking for. I wouldn't be surprised if, pre-draft or post-draft, we get a little bit of a movement. And then we find out that there was another team that was bidding for Max, but the Raiders took a lesser offer to do Max a solid and that kind of thing. I wouldn't be surprised if that came around, but if there was ever an offseason where a decision to move was to happen, this is the offseason that if it doesn't happen this offseason, it's never going to happen. It'll just be Max just leaving in free agency and then that'll be it. So I think, again, we'll see what happens. I don't see John Spytek going out there and just saying, yeah, we're going to move Max, but are there some backhanded deals probably happening right now with GMs and ownerships? For sure. To think that they're not is also naive. So, all right, let's move on to the Broncos talk. So Sean Payton talked about Davis Webb being promoted to the offensive coordinator position for the Denver Broncos, and also saying that he will give him play call duties. He did give a caveat that he'll still be involved in the offense, but he will allow Davis Webb to handle some play calling in certain games and also see to make sure that Davis Webb can handle the job. So, Matt, I'm going to kick it off with you. What are your thoughts on Sean Payton's comments?
No, I'm excited about it. And I'm happy to see this. And I think Corey and I kind of knew or had a feeling like play calling responsibility would go to Davis Webb because he did have other offers from other teams as an offensive coordinator or a head coach where he would get those responsibilities. Mm-hmm. So he, again, he turned those jobs down to take the Denver offensive coordinator job. So I think we kind of knew it was coming. And again, I'm excited for it. I'm happy that that's a decision that they both made. And yeah, I'm happy that Sean Payton's going to have his 2 cents in there, but I'm really excited to see how Davis Webb is going to build this offense and take the screenplays out of the damn playbook. Cause if I see one more screen, I'm going to lose my mind. It's going to be Matt's crash out and not Cody's crash out. So I think, again, I'm happy for him. I'm glad that this team is moving forward and he realized, look, I think the best thing for this team is if you take over the play calling, I'll have my hand in it, but this is you, buddy. Good luck.
Okay. Corey, what are your thoughts on the comments?
Yeah, I called it. So it's one of those where you want him to stay course, right? I get it. Everyone keeps talking about the preseason game that he called, which is great. It's all dandy. Those are about as vanilla as you're going to get. You're not going to show your true offense in a preseason game. But I will say, to Matt's credit, I think we won't see as many screenplays, but I do think we'll see more innovation as far as, it's still going to be Sean Payton's offense. It's still going to be the same terminology. You may just see a couple wrinkles here and there as far as that goes. So very excited. We hopefully it doesn't become a talking point throughout the season because, the first bad game that happens, it's going to be, what was that, Davis? Was it you? Who did what did this? We saw it with the Chiefs when Andy handed it over to Bieniemy. It was, I was calling it anyway. So we'll see how it goes. I'm excited for it. And let's see if he can scheme open some of our deep play guys.
Austin, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not a Broncos fan, so I don't really have feelings towards it, really. I don't know. Yes, Sean Payton's play calling was a little less than pleasant, according to Bronco fans. But at the end of the day, Sean's offenses have genuinely been pretty good. So at this point, I think you just got to trust Sean. If he thinks Davis Webb can call the offense and do all right, I think to start with, he's earned the respect. So you kind of just have to believe Davis Webb's going to be okay. It's nice to have somebody like Sean Payton, because like Corey said, if there's one bad game, he's going to be able to just shut people up on, like, it's not Davis Webb. This shit happens in the NFL. I've had bad games. Andy Reid's had bad games. Sean McVay's had bad games. Like, this is one game. Just shut up. So I think it's nice to have somebody like Sean Payton in your corner when that happens. So I don't know. I mean, it's still a question mark on Davis Webb, but at this point, you just trust Sean Payton making moves like this.
Matt, what have we always said about Sean Payton? No one trusts Sean.
Yep.
Yeah, just like that. He's not going to make this move unless he absolutely trusts Davis Webb to do this. I don't think he goes to the effort he put into keeping Davis Webb if he wasn't going to. The rumor was that Joe Brady was going to be the OC if he didn't get offered the Bills head coaching job, because the expectation obviously was the Raiders going with Davis Webb as their head coach. So again, Sean Payton knew kind of going into this that he probably was going to give up play calling duty, because you wouldn't bring in Joe Brady if he wasn't going to call plays. So
has Davis Webb worked with Bo Nix since rookie season?
Every year.
So I mean, that's another key thing. It's not a new voice for Bo Nix. There's familiarity right there. I mean, how many quarterbacks have we heard like, man, this is their 7th OC in 7 years?
Mm-hmm.
Technically, yes, this is a new play caller, but it's a familiar voice. He's heard him every year. He's been in the league. So I think that's a beneficial part of it too.
And Matt, I'll ask you this real quick. With free agency coming up and with, the running game being lackluster, does this put more emphasis on finding him a running back to have in his offense, or do you look at something different?
No, I'm going running back. Yeah, I think having that running back on that solid running back, that takes the pressure off of Bo, because Corey, how many times have you and I noticed Bo Nix was the lead rusher in the game? And I've always said this before. Anytime you're a quarterback, like Lamar is the exception, because they use that's their game plan. Let Lamar run. Different game plan here. If Bo Nix is the lead rusher, that is a problem. So having that solid running back in there that can catch, that can block, that can be explosive, that's hard to bring down, that can make you miss a tackle, having that back there will make this a much more versatile offense. And I think that's kind of the game plan Davis Webb is going to go for.
And I think you see it with Patrick Mahomes being the leading rusher for the Chiefs all those games too. So it's just like
Justin Herbert, no different too.
Yeah.
Caleb, what are your thoughts as a Chargers fan about Peyton's comments?
So I actually, as a Chargers fan, I hate the move as a Chargers fan. But for you guys, I would be really happy, if I'm being honest with you, you Broncos fans, because I think at times Sean Payton did hold the offense back a little bit. And I think even having a little more of a voice, or Davis Webb having a little more of a voice in that, the play calling, I think that alone will allow them to stretch the field at times where they didn't last year, and I thought they should have, instead of calling like screen plays like you all were saying. And really what I'm thinking about is I go back to thinking about the first Chargers game whenever we played, and I thought at times I thought they were being really conservative when I wouldn't have. I would have been going for our throat. And I think that held him back a little bit. I do think Sean Payton's obviously a whiz. He's always had great offenses, but I think this is a really good move for the Broncos. I really do. A step in the right direction for sure.
I think taking a step back too, he can see the whole picture now, right? Yeah. So he can be in there with Vance Joseph when he needs to. They obviously they hired somebody today. God dang it! Oh, they hired It blew my mind. He's the defensive quality.
The guy out of Colorado.
Yeah, there you go. The D coordinator from Colorado. So now he can, be more present there. So the staff should be all set and ready. So now he can be the CEO and be more involved. He's a special teams guy. He likes to be involved with special teams now too. So again, not having to sit in the quarterback room or the offensive room every day. Trust your coordinators, and now you can, help Vance out when he needs it.
I guess my only question and what I'm curious about is at what point, if the Broncos somewhere struggle with Davis Webb's play calling because he's learning, does then Sean Payton then reassert somewhat control to like play call the way that he wants to, when the Broncos are also, going to be, contenders within that division. Like, it's not one of those seasons like the Raiders, for example, if Clint Kubiak gave play calling to whatever OC he has, and, it's a learning curve. I mean, you're just trying to get reps in, and it's not as important as what Davis Webb and Sean Payton are going through, which is like, hey, we were in the AFC Championship game and we're trying to get to the Super Bowl. At what point does Sean Payton let him fail before he takes it back over? Or how quickly does Sean Payton reassert himself back in the offense? Because maybe it's something that Davis Webb isn't doing that Sean wants,
And I'll still make this very clear on even what I said at the end of the season. Yes, he gave the play calling to Davis Webb. Yes, I still think Sean Payton's going to call about 25% of these plays still. He's not going to 100% hand it over fully. I still think he's going to, there's going to be key situations in games where Sean's going to say, hey, I get it. We're running this right now. We need to run this one right now. And he'll over, and I don't see that being an issue, right? Like, it's just one of those where, hey, I get it, but we need to try this. I don't know necessarily, and I don't even remember when Andy kind of gave his over and how that struggle went. I think they manipulated it to where it looked like both were calling the plays, but only one was getting through the headsets. I mean, guys, it's the NFL. They cover everything up, right? Like, everything's like it's just like college football, the hand signs, the hand signals. It's just one of those where they can manipulate it, and then at the end of the day, we're never going to truly know if it happens.
I guess that's just what I'm curious of. I just don't see Sean Payton completely taking away something that he's such in control of, I guess, is my thought.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with that.
Yep.
All right, so let's move on to the Chiefs topic now. So we had the GM for the Chiefs, Brett Veach, talking about former All-Pro cornerback Trent McDuffie. And for those that watched last week, we did have athletic insider Jesse Newell, who was talking about he wouldn't be surprised if McDuffie is dealt this offseason to free up cap space and to get some draft capital back. So, Austin, what are your thoughts about what Veach said? And do you still see what Jesse mentioned as something that's going to happen?
Yeah, I still think McDuffie gets traded. Kind of like what you were saying with Max. You have an all-pro corner. Of course, your initial, remove salary cap and everything. He is still a really good player, and you would like to keep him. But history shows he doesn't pay corners. We have a couple corners in waiting with Noel Williams, Kristen Fulton still under contract, and then they're really big on Kevin Knowles as well. So they still have a little bit of young corners in there. If they do extend him, though, that will still free up cap space short term. So, I mean, it is always a possibility. But at the end of the day, I think if a team comes knocking with a first-round pick this year, I do think McDuffie's gone.
You think McDuffie goes for a first?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, maybe the Colts have an extra one in their back pocket somewhere. So,
no, I think a common one, the Rams, 29th pick, has been a common one. They need a corner.
Of course, right, one pick in front of Denver.
Yeah.
Bitches.
But I do think it'd be one of those if they did, if the Chiefs get a first round, they'd have to throw one of those 6th rounds in or something, just a little extra. But an all-pro corner, mid-20s, about to hit his prime, he will get at least one first.
And the Chiefs already shown that they're not afraid to trade players like this.
We could have got one for Snead, but he was battling that knee injury right towards the end of his time with the Chiefs, so that he only got a third. But yeah, McDuffie would absolutely. I don't think we trade him if it's not a first. If it's either a first or a couple seconds, high seconds, absolutely.
What would you prefer the Chiefs do with McDuffie? Just with all the information what would your preference be for the Chiefs?
I mean, I'm with Veach. It's always nice to just keep talent. But at the end of the day, if they're not able to come to an extension that opens up cap space right away, because there are still plenty of holes on this roster, no matter how and we can't keep pushing everyone's contract down the road. At some point, that's going to boil up, and
Because that 80 mil, that 85 mil that Pat's going to be due here next year, the year after,
it's going to be a big bill.
They'll keep kicking it down the road. So like you do have to take that into consideration, but like it would be nice, like just football wise, it would be nice to keep McDuffie. Mm-hmm. I will say if the Chiefs extend him, they have to use him correctly. If you're going to pay him money, he has to play your slot. End of story. If you're going to pay a guy, put him where he's supposed to be, plain and simple. So if we do pay him and I watch a game and he's not in the slot, then I'm pissed off. Like, yes, I'm still nice to have him, but he's an all-pro in the slot.
Are you paying him 25 to 30 mil just to play slot?
Yes.
Interesting.
I mean, wouldn't you want him to just lock down a side of the field, not necessarily a slot?
Yeah, I mean.
Slots are where teams get you, though. But he's an exceptional pass rusher.
Mm-hmm.
He's an exceptional tackler, so he sets the edge towards his way, and he's an excellent cover guy. And if you have good outside corners, which if the Chiefs have Noel Williams and Kristen Fulton, Kevin Knowles on the outside, then McDuffie is a matchup nightmare in the slot with Spags blitzes and stuff.
I just think of Cortland Sutton burned him like 4 times for a touchdown in the last 3 years.
Because he's on the outside. That's not where he belongs.
It's Cortland Sutton.
And Cortland Sutton's like a foot taller, too.
So slow.
All right.
But he's an all-pro in the slot. So if we pay him, play him there. But at the end of the day, I do think he gets traded if a first round comes knocking.
Right. Corey, do you think he gets dealt or do you think he stays?
Well, I think he does get dealt, but I asked you the question, were the Raiders going to compete for a playoff spot? Well, the Chiefs will. The Chiefs will be in a playoff position, they will be in position to possibly win the division again this year.
Right.
So why not? Teams got to quit giving Chiefs first-round picks. It's pissing me off because every time the Chiefs get handed a first-round pick from another team, they've hit on these. Well, most of the time they've hit on these players.
Yeah.
Obviously, Xavier Worthy's still up in the air, but he has that potential to still take off. So it's just like, at some point, no. I mean,
we're not gifted the first-round picks. Like,
no, you're gifted the first-round picks.
We also have to.
The Bills, for some reason, every year decide to give you another corner piece to your fucking
Bills are going to
team.
give the Chiefs their first-round pick this year for Trent McDuffie, and the Chiefs are going to end up getting Jeremiah Love at like 28 or something.
It's going to be terrible.
That would be sweet.
So, Caleb, do you think McDuffie stays or goes? You're on mute. It's like that.
What the heck?
Zoom meeting.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So I think he goes. I think it's a business decision overall. McDuffie didn't have the best year of his career this year. It was probably the worst year of his career, but he's owed $13 million, a little over $13 million, I believe, this year. From a business perspective, it makes too much sense for him not to go. The cap situation is not great, so for me, it makes too much sense for him not to go. I think he goes for like a second-round pick would be my guess. I think it's multiple picks, but I think it'll be hard to get a first for him just after the season he had this past year. But I do think he's a very high-caliber player and will be really good wherever he goes.
I mean, my initial reaction is I think if there's a cap issue, I don't think McDuffie stays on the team because even if you restructure and you still have a big you still have a big salary bill that you got to worry about next season. I think this is steps to like cut down into that for not this season, but next season, because you got to worry about that part. So I can see McDuffie being dealt or a cap casualty, I guess. But
fun fact, outside of McDuffie, just if this changes your perspective, Chiefs still have $60 million worth they can clear up outside of McDuffie.
In what form?
Restructures, cuts, etc.
And he wouldn't be a cap casualty. There's zero.
Yeah, he won't cut. You won't get cut.
0% chance he's a cap casualty.
They need to cut Christian Fulton. That's my opinion. But
you just want him back.
No, I don't want him back.
Yeah, he actually balled out pretty well once he got his legs back.
He did.
He can go to the Raiders.
Well, I think Asante Samuel Jr. is still available for you, Caleb. So
I know, right?
But yeah, so the Chiefs are in salary cap hell, but they do still have $60 million they can clear up via cuts, restructures, re-signings, extensions.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not as strapped as people think, which is why I do think there's some truth to if you extend McDuffie, that'll also clear up a little bit of space right now. Obviously, like you said, down the road it sucks, but they're not as strapped as people think.
Well, you know more. I mean, you're more inside than I care to know. I don't know. Cornerbacks to get paid are pretty few and far in between. They usually like get dealt right before they get a big contract, and the next team is the one that has to handle that. And sometimes it doesn't work out, or sometimes it does. It just depends. I don't know. I feel like the Chiefs may go a different direction. Maybe somebody that's not purely slot, but I don't know. I don't know the Chiefs very well. But Matt, I mean, put a button on this. Do you think McDuffie stays or goes?
Yeah, I think he goes. I feel like the Chiefs aren't going to settle anything less than a high second rounder for him. If they do take multiple draft picks, it'll be a second and a third.
Yeah.
But they're definitely not going to settle for anything less than a high second round. And there's nothing wrong with McDuffie. He's got long arms. He can get in there and break up a pass. He's got, when he wants to show it off, he's got good makeup speed. Obviously not against Courtland Sutton because that's his dad. So
Facts.
But I mean, at the end of the day, he's still a good corner. And then, like I said earlier, like if your team, you need to turn a corner. You're coming off of your worst season under the Mahomes and Reed era. You're coming off your worst season. So now you want to turn in the direction because now the Broncos are kind of starting to assert themselves. The Raiders, again, they have the wheels on the right track. The Chargers, but like this is about to probably be a very competitive division. So now you want to like keep up in the race and like try to find a way to pull ahead. And if it means trading McDuffie, getting some young talent in there, because if you think about it, that Chiefs roster is kind of getting up there in age. There's a lot of old players on there, or they're getting old. Mm-hmm. So now you want to start bringing in that young talent to develop, to keep up with the younger talent that Denver has, that the Chargers have, that the Raiders are about to get.
What pissed you off most this season? You kept talking about it every week that Spags doesn't do.
What Spags doesn't do? Dude, I don't even know.
Plays the young players.
I just leave it in the past. And
well, that's what I'm saying. Therefore, if you want those young players to get in there and see what they have long term, and you think they're just as good, then you got to move on from this guy.
But sadly, McDuffie's not one of the old ones, but Chris Jones really the only old. Jones and Tranquil were the old ones, but I think McDuffie's a tough spot because Watson's also a free agent, and he's going to get decent money on the market. Cook from safety, he's projected to be one of the higher paid safeties in free agency. So you can only lose so many secondary players. So I think it makes the McDuffie thing a little tricky. But yeah, no, I do think he gets traded in the end. But it's going to be an interesting offseason for the Chiefs. I think Broncos, Raiders, and Chargers have a pretty clear path of what they should do. And it's kind of a question mark on like, what can the Chiefs do and what will do? I might just be biased as a Chiefs fan, but I think they're the most like clouded route right now when it comes to AFC West teams.
I think there's a lot of moves that they can make, but yet still be relevant in the division. And it's just, what path are they taking? Because I think, to your credit, like, are they going to be Super Bowl contenders again, or are they going to try to be a younger team that's still competing, but they're two different roads depending on what direction they go within free agency signings, trades, and all that stuff. So I think that's the question for the Chiefs.
Yep.
So, all right, let's round it out with the Chargers. So I don't have any sort of outlandish notes here other than your coaching staff is full, Caleb, and you've got some characters on there, to say the least. So what do you think the Chargers are going to do to build around Herbert to hopefully get him and the Chargers a win in the playoffs?
Yeah, so I listened to Joe Ortiz, which is the Chargers GM. I listened to 2 of his interviews from the Combine yesterday, and he gave some interesting takes. He didn't want to give a lot of info. He did say that they are going to build around Justin. He said we're really going to go after O-line, which is obvious. That's no secret to anybody. Anyone that watched the NFL this year knows that we need an O-line. So he said they're really going to attack the O-line, running backs, tight ends, and then the defense as a whole. So I'm really curious to see what he does. And then obviously we got Mike McDaniel in there. So our scheme kind of changes a little bit. So I'm curious to see what exactly we go after. I thought it was really interesting because he said that they're not going to go after speed as much as most people think. He said that's what the GM in Miami drafted. So that's what Mike McDaniel adapted to. I thought that was really interesting for me because when I hear Mike McDaniel, I think like speed, like just how they play. I just think that's what I think of when I think of him. So I'm curious to see what they do in free agency here in the next 2 weeks now, I guess. I'm really curious to see how they approach it there because I think that will dictate our draft picks big time. But yeah.
I find that comment interesting because I thought it was Mike McDaniel's speed offense that they instilled.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I did too. And apparently the reason they hired Mike McDaniel was because he told them the different ways he adapts to the people he has, the pieces he has on his team. And I thought that was really interesting because I never thought of that. Like I always thought Mike McDaniel was a speed guy. Like that's just what I've always known him for. So I thought it was interesting too.
Matt, what is your take on the comments?
I mean, it's so confusing what the Chargers are trying to do. Again, like Caleb said, I thought when they brought in Mike McDaniels because they wanted to get that speed offense. Yeah. And then now it's like now we're going in a different direction. So it's like, what are you trying to do? So I'm honestly, if I wasn't afraid of the Chargers before, I'm even less afraid of them now because you brought in these big time coaches. You brought in Mike McDaniel, and then you back that up with Adam Gase, who hasn't coached for 5 years and looks like he lives in a padded cell. But so it's like, what direction are you guys actually trying to go in? Because it looks like you're just still in disarray. So yeah, I don't know what the Chargers are trying to do, but yeah, if I wasn't afraid of them before, I'm even less afraid of them now.
Yeah. Corey?
Yeah, I mean, again, we questioned it because what Harbaugh has typically been about is, yes, Mike McDaniel likes to run the football. That's a big part of their game. And I think you can still get by with, running that power offense with what McDaniel can call, right? So, again, we questioned it early on, and we said it could be very interesting with what Harbaugh and McDaniel do together. Not off to a hot start, but again, we're just now like even scratching the surface of the offseason. So once you start seeing moves and once you start seeing kind of an idea of who they bring in, what they're doing, then we can start questioning it in May.
Austin?
Yeah, Chargers are weird. I'd have to say they're the one team in this division where I think after all the coaching staffs are done, I think they're the only ones who are just either the same or worse. McDaniel is a big name offensively, but I don't know. Something with him and Harbaugh together, I think, is not going to mesh, or at least not mesh quickly. And then I don't know if you bring in like Adam Gase as a mediator or whatever you bring him in for, it's not good.
A hell of a person to meet in the middle with those two.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like Mike McDaniel is a big name. Obviously, he was a lot of people's first choice when it comes to offensive coordinator, and rightfully so. It's just that him and Harbaugh are a weird pairing. They're ones that I'm going to have to see before I can say one thing, but then you also go, I know you're excited about your D coordinator, but then you also lose mentor. So I think as far as coaching staffs go, I think Chargers are at least they've stood pat or got a little worse. But I mean, as far as the comments around building around Herbert, that's obvious. At some point you have to do it. Like you can't just let him get 10 years into his career and then decide like, oh, hey, maybe we should finally start doing something for him. So I think those were kind of just obvious.
And it could end up being the best offensive coordinator hire this offseason. So, I mean, on the flip side of that, this could be a real beautiful thing. I just don't know if I'm leaning there quite yet.
I think, and I'm going to, we haven't even done our, schedule releases or conversation in that sense. And I'm going to go on record now that I don't think the Raiders are going to be a playoff team. I don't think they'll have a winning record. And Caleb, I have a feeling the Chargers are going to have the same record as the Raiders. And I think a lot of it is because
oh snap!
I think a lot of it is because the Raider. I think a lot of it is because the Chargers, like hearing this kind of like back and forth already, and we haven't even gotten to draft night. We haven't gotten to preseason yet. We kind of talked about it, that this is the oddest pairing between Mike McDaniel and Harbaugh. I have a feeling that this season is going to put Harbaugh on the hot seat, where it's going to be a question of, can he lead this team? And, you know, those discussions we've talked about if Justin Herbert is going to be on the team in the future and stuff, I think those conversations happen during this upcoming season. And it's not to say that I don't think the Chargers are going to be competitive or not. I just think that with this much distraction already, and I'm not even saying it's distraction, but there's something about this coaching pairing, at least that they've got going on right now, that if I was Caleb, and I'm sure you feel it, that you're kind of like, yeah, I think it'll work, but still it's like, I don't know. Like, it's still a huge question mark. So
Caleb, don't you take that, Caleb?
Dude, we're like 6 months from the season, and we just got that right now.
Yeah, I don't know how to respond to that, but I'm
acknowledging my Raiders are not going to have a winning record. They're not going to make the playoffs. We'll be lucky to have 5 or 6 wins.
You just said that the Chargers are going to have a losing record.
I would not be surprised if the Chargers are going to be at the same record as the Raiders. I mean,
holy shit!
I mean, curious, like the Chargers were dubbed like AFC West favorites like a week ago.
Yep.
Caleb, do you feel like that they're AFC West favorites?
I think that's too early to say, personally. I don't want to say that yet.
I feel like that's more disrespectful towards Denver, if we're going to mention that.
Well, and again, I'm not saying that I'm not even saying that Broncos shouldn't be considered favorite. I'm just saying they were saying the Chargers are the AFC West favorites.
Betting favorites, yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm curious, like, do you feel like they're the AFC West favorites?
I think that's way too early to say. Ask me like week 6.
When the Raiders season is over.
Yeah, ask me like week 18.
They're the betting favorites to win the division. The betting favorites to win the division. Cody's out here saying you guys ain't shit.
Well, I'm just curious on how they have betting. Like, we don't even know what these rosters are going to look like, right?
That's
like free agency, draft.
That's I think the unfortunate thing about sports betting is you can bet so early on about what will or will not happen or what's to hit on this and that, and it's kind of convoluted to the point to where it's like it's getting out of hand of like what they're able to bet in what time frame.
There aren't such wild moves and bad and good draft classes that, you know, in 5 months from now, when we're sitting in July, who's to say the Raiders don't bump up a few wins just because they've made moves?
Nope.
I'm not saying win the division. I said bump up a few wins.
Nope.
We double our win total from 3 to 6.
That's what I'm saying. Nope. But like, it's so far out that like,
right.
I agree that the coaching staff of the Chargers is wild, but I don't know how anyone can have a betting favorite right now.
So,
and if it is, it's got to be Denver. We're 2 weeks removed or whatever from an AFC Championship game.
Yeah, I agree. My take on that is, personally, I'm not saying the Chiefs are going to win the division, but right now they're the 3rd worst betting odds, which is crazy. Which means they're going to make you the most money if the 3rd most money or 2nd most money, I guess. So I would definitely bet on the Chiefs if I'm doing that. Honestly, because I think it was like plus 20,000 odds or something. It was crazy. I'm like,
so a $10 bet would get you almost 200,000. Is that what that is?
Something crazy, yeah.
Caleb, I think you should throw a $10 down on that and see what happens.
Yeah, I think I'm about to throw a 20 spot.
That's insane. Yeah, it's wild.
I mean, again, I'm not trying to throw too much shade at the Chargers. Maybe not.
But that's exactly it. There's no not wasn't trying. You did.
I'm keeping that
clip that bad boy. Clip it.
What can I say?
All right, guys. Flip from Gino, and he's going to keep that receipt and not write back.
That's right. All right, let's move on to League Recon. We've got some predicting of some off-season signings and tradings. I actually have a list of some potential moves that ESPN has mentioned. I wanted to ask you guys to see if you think it's legit or if it can happen. So if you guys are okay entertaining this, I'll kick it off with a couple of names here.
Don't forget to say ESPN is the butthole of America.
Or you just did that for me. Thank you.
There you go.
They're so bad. That's why I already said none of these are cool.
But I do want to hear these.
Yeah. So
can I add one thing real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
definitely make sure everyone, like Corey said yesterday, if you were watching, check your sources, because I saw one yesterday from a 49ers person. They were talking about cutting Trent Williams in the next week. And I was like,
That might actually be real.
That actually might be real, though.
Schefter reported that.
I don't know, dude. I don't see it.
I don't know how that happens, if I'm being honest.
Trent's not willing to budge on the old restructured contract, though.
Yeah, he's supposed to make $40 million this year.
He would look great in silver and black. I would be okay
Right.
getting a veteran like that on the
I
team.
mean, that would be an okay signing for the Raiders.
Nice number 1 overall pick to him.
Holy shit.
Cody's out here asking if McDuffie's worth a first, and I saw one where it said McDuffie would get Cowboys first and CeeDee Lamb. So
That's how you know that's fun.
exactly.
Yeah, no, that would be crazy. All right, here's a couple of names I'm going to throw out there, and it's up to you guys. I can tell you what ESPN said they think is the best fit, or you can tell me if this happens where you think they're going to go. So Brian Thomas Jr. of the Jacksonville Jaguars, his name is popping up. He's got 2 years left on a rookie deal, of course, because he's a second-year player. Do you think he gets dealt this offseason? And if so, where do you think he goes? So, Caleb, I'll let you kick it off.
I don't think he gets dealt. I think the Jaguars keep him. But if he does, I could see him going to I don't know. I don't even know. I don't see them dealing him.
Okay.
I guess I'll leave it at that.
So just for the conversation, these are the 4 teams that ESPN is predicting would be the best fits: Patriots, Bills, Steelers, Raiders. So not to say that's going to happen, but that's just 4 of the teams that they threw out there. So Matt, do you think Brian Thomas Jr. gets dealt? And if so, where?
I kind of do. I'm leaning towards he does get dealt. And honestly, I see him ending up in silver and black for whatever reason. So
I have to get my head around that, but all right. Corey, what do you think?
I say yes. I think it's Buffalo.
Buffalo. Okay. Austin?
I don't think he gets traded.
I don't think he gets traded either. I feel like this is just a bargaining tool. I feel like he's their best receiver, so why are you dealing him?
Well, no, Jacoby Myers is their best receiver.
Brian Thomas is still their best receiver.
I'm going Jacoby
Myers
Myers.
is their most reliable.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's what makes you better.
But Brian Thomas has a chance to be top 5 receiver. Jacoby
I think
Myers isn't that high.
Jacoby Myers changed their team last year when he got traded there. So
I
mean,
think
Brian Thomas
sophomore
Jr. is a
slump
hell of a
little bit.
receiver. Why not just have both? Why do we have to deal one? You
Yep.
know?
because you don't have money to do everything. Like you have to make these. You have to make moves.
Have Trevor Lawrence restructure his deal since you overpaid him a season and a half ago.
That's true.
He still has 2 years left on his contract too, on a rookie deal.
Yeah, Brian Thompson. Yeah, he's only a 4.9 on the cap. So why would you trade him in that? I don't know. Anyways,
Maybe next offseason.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, again though, receivers. I think if you have a good receiver for their offense, you kind of want to value that. I mean, as a Raiders that don't have a good receiver, we just gave one to the Jaguars. I would think you want to keep as many good receivers as you have. So, all right, Achan from Miami, does he get dealt? Corey?
No.
Okay, Austin.
Damn it, that was going to be one of my offseason trades if we went to it. I do think he gets traded, and I think he gets traded to the Chargers for Marion Hampton. And like
a fourth.
You know, I wouldn't mind it. That's all I got to say.
But we're not going speed.
Yeah, remember we're going slow. So
I know. I think he was pulling a smoke screen. That's all I got to say.
But H1 was that offense.
Yeah. One of the teams on here though is the Chiefs, for what it's worth. So it's Chiefs, Texans, Vikings are the best fit. ESPN says I could see the Chiefs. I don't know if they'll make a deal for it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Achan found his way there.
Let's really hope it's not the Chiefs.
We just wouldn't use them.
You would use another passing game.
Matt, what do you think? Does he get dealt or is he staying?
I think he gets dealt. I don't know. For some reason, I kind of feel like the Cardinals would jump at that for whatever. I don't know why. I feel like the Cardinals or the Browns. Again, look how he is old. Achan is kind of old.
What?
So I feel like the Brown. Unless I'm thinking of someone else, I'm pretty sure
he's a very old 24-year-old.
He is an old 24-year-old. So yeah, like he just looks old to me. I don't know, but I feel like the Cardinals would jump at that. You know why I was thinking? Raheem Mostert popped in my head. That's why.
Oh,
Yeah,
Raiders.
But,
Raiders legend. That's right.
So scratch the old comment, but I feel like the Cardinals, maybe even the Texans would take him.
Yeah.
Texans would be gross.
Texans is on this list. Yeah.
As long as CJ Stroud's on that roster.
Yeah. But Corey, do you think did I ask you if he gets dealt or not?
You
He
did.
did.
Okay. Is there somebody that I didn't ask? Caleb, go ahead.
Yeah, I think he gets dealt to the Steelers. They need
Okay.
a running back. They need a little piece. Got a Mike McCarthy in there. I think that's a good fit for him.
Well, I mean, they drafted that Caleb Johnson kid out of Iowa. You don't think that he's going
He's
to?
not good.
He sucks. And I like him.
I know, I did too.
All right. Next, Miami Dolphin, Jalen Waddle. Matt, do you think Jalen Waddle gets dealt or do you think he stays?
I kind of feel like they're going to keep him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're going to keep him because, again, he was in trade talks last year, and the Dolphins wanted way too much for him. He's injury prone. I think they're just going to keep him unless someone is willing to like make that Colts deal and like here's 2 1s for him. We'll take him. I think they're going to just keep him.
Well, and here's what you would be trading for. You're trading for he has 3 more years left on his deal that is owed $57.3 million, and 16 of that is guaranteed this upcoming season. So it's a little bit cap friendly if you are ready to make a move this season, but then you're going to be paying a lot more the final 2 years. So that's what you would be getting from Jalen Waddle. And he's now 27, I think the age is. Yeah, he's 27 now.
Yeah, I think he stays in Miami.
Okay. Corey, what do you think?
Yes, Denver gets him.
You think Denver gets him? Do you think one of your receivers is cut, or are you just going to add him to the roster?
Still just add him. I mean, we have plenty of. Did you see our fucking roster this receiver quarter this season, Cody?
Yeah.
Holy cow, dude! Like, my God, maybe little Jordan Humphrey will finally be off the roster this time.
I don't know. He's a Sean Payton guy, so we'll see.
They won't take on that full contract. They'll take, they'll make it like a second or a third rounder, or like a third and a fifth or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the Dolphins will still take on some of that salary, that dead cap stuff, but Denver wouldn't take the whole thing off. So it's like a 5% chance that this happens. But yes, I would say he gets moved and it's to Denver if he does.
All right, Austin.
I don't think he gets dealt. It's a pretty nice receiving group that might be out there, which is going to kind of slim out what teams are willing to give up for a speedster who kind of battles injuries every year. So, yeah, I don't think he gets traded.
I think he does. He's 27. He's going to have a pretty large cap number the next few years. I think his value is never higher than right now, considering they're going to probably let go of Tua. And I think they're going to want to start fresh. I don't know if they're going to want to have Waddle on the team, and maybe you can get a third round for him. Maybe, I mean, a high end. Maybe the Cowboys are willing to give you a third and a second if they feel like they're not going to keep George Pickens. So, I think Miami would deal him, if I'm being honest. The 4 teams that ESPN says that would be a fit would be the Steelers, Chiefs, Raiders, and the Ravens. So, for what it's worth.
Well, I hope it's not the Chiefs.
Well, now I kind of want it to be the Chiefs.
Well, of course
To
you do.
offset that Achane deal.
Well, no.
All right, next
It's
name
much
up.
better the Chiefs get Waddle than can Achane, I have to tell you that.
That's very true. All right, next name up, Max Crosby of Las
Yes.
Vegas. So, okay, hold your
We
horses.
don't need to hear it all.
Yes.
We know he's getting traded.
So what team
Cowboys.
do you think? Cowboys? Okay, you're on
Bears.
Cowboys.
Bears.
Caleb?
Cowboys.
This was, 3 months ago when I said Cowboys? I would stick with it. Keep my ground.
All right. If I had to pick a team, I would say the Bears. I think the Bears have
Is it because of the old moves that you guys have made with the Bears before?
probably. We're going to go back to our ex, essentially, is what's going to happen. So,
Do you think you get more for him than you did for Khalil Mack?
No.
no, I think Khalil Mack was a lot. Although, let the record show, I did not want to deal Khalil Mack to begin with. So I thought that was a stupid idea.
So looking back on it, are you still mad that they did this trade?
That they dealt Khalil Mack?
Yes.
1,000%.
They
So do
haven't
you-
won any games.
So do you think if you traded Max Crosby, history repeats itself and you're still pissed off, 10 years from now?
Well, hold on. So as a fan, hold on. No. You simmer down now, sir. No, it's not a yes or no.
I'm trying to keep you from crashing out. That's why I'm making it a yes or no.
So hindsight's always 2020. Who knows what team we were if we had Khalil Mack? Now, granted, that was when we had John Gruden. Who knows what our defense would have looked like if he was on the same team? Because I was also upset that he dealt Amari Cooper. I did not want Amari Cooper to go either. I thought he was a very good receiver for what the Raiders needed, and we really haven't found anyone that replaced Amari Cooper when he was dealt anyways. So, but again, like in this scenario with Max Crosby, like, I don't know if in 10 years I'm going to get upset that the Raiders dealt him or didn't deal him. I'm in the position of like, I don't want Max to go. I want him to be a Raider for life. If he is dealt and we get a good deal from it, okay, whatever the draft pick is that pans out, I hope it pans out. I don't know, but we'll see. Do I want him to go? No.
So yes or no?
I'm not answering this.
I will say, if you don't trade him this year and he plays one more year with the Raiders, you're not getting what you were going to get for him this year, next year.
Especially if he gets hurt again.
I'm going to answer this as a Raiders fan, not as a front office person. As a Raiders fan, I'm okay with we still have him one more year. His value's diminished next year. I'm fine with that because I'm
okay. At the end of the season, when you have 4 wins again, are you going to be okay and say, "Hey, it's the same results"?
No, Max, come back. We need you. We need you to get 7 more wins for us.
God, I'm glad I'm not a Raiders fan.
Well, for so many reasons.
For so many, yeah. God, I'm so glad.
All right. A couple more here and then we'll move on. So DK Metcalf, is he going or is he staying? He has 4 more years left. Nothing is guaranteed, but it's $28.75 million per year. That's on the remaining 4 years. So per year, it's like $29 million. So does DK Metcalf stay or does he go?
I'll say stay.
Stay.
And I only say that because he just signed it last year. And I still think Aaron Rodgers comes back. He's getting ready to do his whole darkness thing right now where he gets some shrooms and shoots up some heroin and then thinks about it. Yeah. So I think Aaron Rodgers does come back, and I think DK stays there because then again, if they were to go young quarterback, Kyler Murray, for example, I think DK would be a huge help.
I think he stays at least one more year. I'll say.
Yeah,
Caleb?
I think he's. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, Matt. I was hoping someone would just say something.
I was going to say, yeah, I think he stays. I mean, unless there's a team out there looking for him to fight a fan, and I don't think there's many of those right now. So,
hell yeah,
he might do it on the Bills.
Maybe.
Damn, Josh Allen, okay though.
Yeah. Austin, Caleb, do you guys have any thoughts if he's staying or going?
Stay.
Yeah, I think he stays.
Trade to the Chiefs.
All right, one last name on here. Kyler Murray, is he being dealt, and if so, where's he going?
Chiefs.
To the Raiders.
Running back.
He's that bridge quarterback the Raiders were looking for.
He's going to be the
number 1 pick.
Throwing bait to Kyler.
Pat's just go deep.
You wanted Tyreek, you got Kyler Murray as your receiver one. I think Kyler Murray gets traded.
What team do you think he goes to?
Whoever's dumb.
Okay, so just for reference here, Dolphins, Jets, Vikings are the 3 teams ESPN is forecasting. Yeah,
Jets.
That would make sense.
The Lakers.
Raiders.
Say he goes to the Lakers. What?
What's those UFL teams? Isn't one of them the Roughnecks or something? Maybe that team.
The Steamboats.
I don't remember.
The Tropic Thunder.
But I think yes, but I think Steelers could be on that list.
If Rodgers.
If Rodgers
I actually thought Miami.
That's I mean,
Dolphins, yeah, I mean one of them.
Just because ESPN put their shitty list out there doesn't mean we don't have to agree with it. So
that's fine. I don't care. Vikings kind of make the most sense to me for what they need, and it might make Justin Jefferson happier than he is right now with JJ McCarthy. So
it does, but it goes against what my big prediction was of Joe Burrow going to Miami or Minnesota. So I don't want to like double up.
Bars.
Ooh, it kind of is. At what point do you think the Joe Burrow heat to the Vikings warms up this offseason?
In the next few weeks.
It doesn't. Think so?
At the start of the new season year. Yep.
Man, Jamar Chase would be pissed.
Justin Jefferson would be so happy.
Yeah, maybe Joe Burrow would find his love for football again.
Just saying, him and KOC.
AFC.
Vikings would be my immediate Super Bowl favorite pick.
Yep.
All right. So last bit, do we have any signing and tradings that you guys want to talk about for anything else?
I have one prediction for the Chargers.
Oh no.
No, it's
love
not
to
a
hear.
bad one. I think they go a cheaper and I think better route, and I actually think they signed Lloyd Cushenberry for center
Broncos legend.
Okay.
because the Titans
I
released
wouldn't
him.
mind it.
And I think Harbaugh's smart enough to know Linderbaum's not as good
Yeah.
as people think he is, so he's not going to want to pay him. The other center before Cushenberry was released is a little older, so I think Cushenberry kind of fits the middle ground for better value. See, not a bad one, Caleb.
No, that's not a bad one. I actually like that. Maybe
And honestly,
we should get friggin' Austin in our front office.
Well, and to be fair to Cushenberry, his last season with Denver was really good, which is why he got paid. But there's no way I would have been happy if Denver gave him that contract. So sucks to see him get cut, but at the same time, it's like I still think he has that potential there to be really good. Could be a Raiders option.
And you don't even need like a Creed Humphrey type. You just need someone who doesn't rank as the worst center in football.
Yep.
Someone who's not going to get Justin Herbert just pounded in the chest.
Alex Kappa is going to be available this offseason, Caleb, just in case.
There you go.
A veteran,
Yeah.
I think you guys spend the big money on guards and look for Cushenberry at center.
Cut Becton. That's move number one for me. But yeah.
Let's predict a few big time signings that people get to trade. Like, where do people think Kenneth Walker ends up?
Denver.
He may get paid handsomely for either Denver or the Chiefs. I think he's going to be in the AFC West in some capacity next season.
Unfortunately, I think it's going to be a bid war between the Chiefs and the Broncos for this guy.
Yeah, he's going to get a lot of money.
He's going back to his home state. The Titans.
Dude, that would be
Going to the Titans.
I just
They
want to
got
remind
money,
everyone
too.
too that he is a
'Cause
bit
he can
injury
get-
prone, so just be wary when bidding for him. So
Oh yeah. I just know he's going to get paid pretty.
That's why I think Chiefs are out of the running. They can't do that.
I think Travis Etienne for either the Broncos or the Chiefs would be a better signing for the two teams rather than Kenneth
See, I
Walker. I think
Kenneth
Kenneth Walker's a
Walker-
good running back, but I think Travis Etienne would fit both offenses better, in my opinion.
Preferably, I would like to have Breece Hall because he's shown like he can handle a workload that Sean Payton would expect
He's
of
getting
him.
tagged.
Unfortunately, that
he's got-
happened.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
got franchise
I know.
tagged earlier this week, I think.
Well, they're talking about it. It's not like
They're talking about it. They don't know if it's going to be a transitional or non-exclusive, but
Yeah.
He's going to be mad, dude.
Well, yeah, everyone would rather have Breece Hall over all of them. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah,
I've already moved on from Breece Hall, so it's K9 or Etienne for me.
Me at the running back position, I want Dowdle or Algier.
Ooh.
Yeah, I want someone that can handle a workload that Sean Payton would expect of that running back. So maybe Etienne, Tyler Algier. If I
Give me
had to
Algier,
choose,
bro. I
Algiers.
think you looked it up. He's supposed to make
Really
like
solid.
predicted to make like $4 million a year.
Yeah, it was 2 years. It was a projected 2 for 8.
I'm like, dude, I'll give you 2 for 10. I'll
And that's
support it.
I think that's what people would lean towards is a 2 for 10, and you sweeten it up with like 6 guaranteed.
I just don't want to dish out big money for running backs if it's not like Derrick Henry, James Cook, Jonathan Taylor.
well, I
Like,
mean,
nothing against these dudes, but like I need a game changer.
I don't know, but I would even say I don't even know if Kenneth Walker changes that much for the Chiefs offense, depending on how they use him. And I don't know if they want to spend that much money on Kenneth Walker. That's why I don't know, like for the Chiefs. Yeah, I don't know if that makes the most sense for what the Chiefs normally do to spend that much on a running back.
I thought you were talking about Denver for a second. I was going to say,
No.
and I don't know how Matt feels about this, but Denver's a running back away. Like, you spend the money right now. You take that chance. You have to take that chance. You have a defense who's still pretty good. You have to take that chance. As far as the Chiefs go, until I see Andy Reid get more like into that, and maybe with EB being back, I don't know. We'd have to look at the deeper numbers of EB and what he
We
did.
ran better when we had EB, but we didn't run more. We just had a more efficient run game.
I would almost look at the Chiefs if they are going to make a splash. I look at them going for like a receiver.
Yeah,
like
same.
someone who
I think that's higher priority to pay more than
I
a
think
running
so,
back,
too.
in my opinion.
I think we'll pay a pass rusher before we pay anything.
And here's a name. Here's a name to look out for as far as Denver goes. Riley Moss. Like, yeah, I mean, they could potentially trade him for picks.
Yeah.
Like, don't sleep on it. Don't put it back, because here's the thing. You wasted a first-round pick on Jahdae Barron, who barely got any playing time, but when he did, he was good in the slot. Chris Abrams-Rain has shown he can go in there and go toe-to-toe with some of these top guys. Again, he filled the void when Pat Surtain got hurt, and it wasn't like he lined up against any cake receiver. I mean, he had George Pickens and he had CeeDee Lamb that he lined up against, and he held his own. So you have solid cornerbacks. You're probably going to re-sign Jaquan McMillan, which I would love that. I want J-Mac back without a doubt. So now is time to look at, do they get rid of Riley Moss?
I wouldn't. I like Riley Moss, but if you're not going to pay him, you do trade him just because you're loaded. But here's my you also can't have enough corners either, though.
Yeah,
is where I'm at. That's a tough one. I think if the right price came knocking.
Well, I mean, could you
take a third?
Could you trade Moss and then find something not similar, but could you find something that could fit your system in free agency that doesn't give up a bunch of offensive, passive, or defensive?
I would much rather have Riley Moss and his physicality than I worry about what other corners we could find. I mean, you ask a fair question. I'm not saying it's I would, if my choice would be, I would rather just keep Riley Moss.
Yeah, personally, I would say to keep Riley for a year, just because he's still on his rookie deal, right? Or am I forgetting something?
He'll be a free agent after this, or his contract's up after this season.
And then the Broncos could potentially get a pick for him getting signed. So I would definitely do that. Just wait it out and let him become a free agent.
Yeah, if he gets paid, you guys could still end up with that third round compensatory pick anyway.
Yep.
So you just keep him for the year. But my next big name is Trey Hendrickson.
Oh, yeah.
I know he's a little bit on the older side, but where do we think he ends up?
See, this is a name I see the Cowboys paying hand over fist for. I know Max Crosby's being thrown out there, but if Max doesn't go to the Cowboys, I can see Trey Hendrickson going to Dallas, because I thought Dallas tried to acquire him last trade deadline and it just fell through. He's somewhere I can see Dallas really paying hand over fist for to add him to the team, even though he makes that position older, but I feel like that's a Cowboys move.
I don't think he would choose the Cowboys no matter. I think he's at the point in his career he wants to go win something, and that's not the Cowboys.
Where do you think then?
Me? I think he ends up in Kansas City. I think that's where
in Kansas City. I don't see Kansas City paying him again.
Trey Hendrickson's a Bengal.
Huh?
He said Trey Hendrickson.
A Bengal.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say Kansas City? I meant to say Cincinnati. Sorry.
No, I think Kansas City's cap space goes to Trey Hendrickson.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying that he stays in Cincinnati, and I was like, I don't see him getting paid in Cincinnati again.
No, I think Kansas City. They'll give him that 2 to 3 year deal, give him some money, because I think they're at the point they're going to quit trying to draft pass rushers. They're going to pay something they know they can get a couple years out of right now, and use draft capital elsewhere. So I think Trey Hendrickson goes Kansas City.
Where's that defensive coordinator at that was with the Bengals when they went to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, he's with the Colts.
I mean, that would be an interesting landing spot since that was arguably his best seasons was under Luz. So
yeah,
Luz a dog.
Yeah. Any other players?
Those are the two big ones.
Yeah. Take us home.
All right. Guys, thank you guys so much for tuning into West Wardroom Rivals. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. For those that are watching, appreciate you guys sticking around, hearing our banter. It's off season right now, so there's not a whole lot of news out there, but we try to bring you some hot takes for season 2. # be a fan. So if you have any fan hot takes, drop it in the comments down below so that way we can review them on the next episode. Sponsor shout outs before we get out of here. Rival codes. Go to rivalcodes.com today. Use Rivals10 to get 10% off of your merch today. It is not just apparel, it is a territory. Also, Field Ops Kansas. Go visit Troy and the crew at Field Ops Kansas for all field marketing and league markings for your seasons. And Emporia State Federal Credit Union, Angie and the team. The War Room's banking of choice. Shout out to them. And JBW Solutions. We saw Kim and Jeff in the comments, so shout out to JBW Solutions as the guys are repping all the gear. We are recording out of the JBW Solutions studio, so shout out to them. go visit jbwsolutionsllc.com today for all safety and compliances for your place of work and business. So guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll catch you guys next week. Do we have anything special coming up next week, guys?
Matt, next week I think is Sylvester Morris returns, and then we also
new children's
have,
book, right?
Yep, and then Mads and Jabba Chamberlain the following night.
For all those baseball fans, tune in for that. That'll be very, very fun. And if everybody watches enough, maybe we'll have a baseball podcast. Who knows? But we'll see. Or sponsors that, drop it in here so that way we can expand this thing so we can have a whole ass network. That'd be cool. So
make us millionaires.
There we go. You know what? Just put $50 on the Chargers to win the division and we'll be there.
Oh, shit.
All right, guys. We'll catch you guys on the next episode. We'll see you.